All right, so we got the big dog going now. So we're going to go with the driver now. And before I go forward in this and talk about the new Elyte driver, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Evan Gibbs, Director of Woods and R&D from Callaway.
Okay, so Evan Gibbs. So now, how long have you been with Callaway?
25 years.
25. Well, wow.
Yeah.
So what's your background? So you've been with Callaway for a long time. Engineering, what was it?
Engineering background.
Okay, engineering background. So what type of engineering?
Mechanical engineering.
Okay, so a lot of mechanical engineers here, obviously, that you put the building in the woods, all right, with the R&D. All right, so this year we got the new Elyte driver out, okay? And before we go into the different models that's available, talk to me about why the Elyte is going to be the best driver out there. What's the technology that was put into this club? What's the difference between what was out before, what's new in this driver?
Yeah, I think, we really wanted to design these drivers with no trade-offs. So, we've had some fast drivers in the past that weren't so forgiving. We've had some forgiving drivers that lacked some speed.
Right.
And really, this is our best combination of speed, low spin, and forgiveness.
Okay.
And a lot of that is driven by the face technology. So the AI 10X face, the second generation of our AI smart face that we introduced in AI Smoke. Where we are utilizing real player swing dynamics in our optimization. So we gather thousands and thousands of player swings. We look at impact location, probability of impact location, and then how they deliver the head. And we use that in our optimization so that we're accounting for the player's head delivery to account for the ideal launch and spin, obviously trying to maximize ball speed across the face.
Sure.
And so we're getting a lot more forgiveness than we have in the past out of the face technology. So these have a lot of inertia for a lot of stability, but we're getting a lot of forgiveness coming from the face as we're using the face deflection, again, not just for speed, but to better optimize launch and spin.
So, and you back to one of the original points you said there is that every year you're getting more and more real players or real world data for this.
Yeah.
So this AI technology, that was only a few years back that you really started doing this. And now you're getting the real players technology in here, and the more data you can put in, the better these are going to be, am I right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the AI process depends on the data that you input.
Right.
And the more data that you have, the more data that you input, it can better optimize an outcome for those player swings.
So you got 4 different offerings in this, am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about the one first. You got the Elyte. This is the standard Elyte, am I right?
Yep.
Okay,
That's our kind of standard model. That's going to appeal to the broadest segment of the market. Again, fast, low spin, super forgiving. It's got 3 weights in the back. For shot shape correction, about 16 yards total between the fade and the draw. So super versatile in fitting, and really just going to fit, the majority of the market.
So this is the majority. The majority of players are going to be in the standard Elyte right here. The majority of the market. Okay, and then you have the one I have right here is you have the X.
So the X model is a little bit larger footprint. It's our highest MOI, most forgiving, most stable on off-center impacts. It's really designed for players who need a little bit more forgiveness and want to launch the ball a little higher.
Now, is there some more draw bias in this than in the
There's
standard?
some built-in added draw bias in that. So for players who tend to miss it to the right and need a little help turning it over, that's going to be the model for them.
There's more built-in draw bias.
Typically, they're kind of mid to higher handicap player.
and just a big thing that I know with that is that typically in the past it's been a little bit more draw bice in this. Next, okay. Now then you have the Max Fast. Am I right?
Yeah,
okay,
the Max Fast.
And the Max Fast, and what's up with that one?
That's a lighter weight club head, full carbon chassis, and designed for players with slightly slower swing speeds. Designed to give them a little bit more speed at impact and also high launch.
Now, is there going to be adjustability in all those clubs in the Max Fast?
So the Max Fast also has the neutral and draw, just like the X model. So 2 different shot shapes in a lighter weight package.
But they have the adjustability in the neck for all the lofts for the Max Fast.
All of them,
because
the Max Fast
that wasn't in that in the past years. Is that what?
Yeah, this is the first year the Max Fast has the adjustable hosel.
That's nice because they took that out when the guys were getting the Max Fast last year. They lost adjustability and they were going to give up one thing, gain another. So, and then you have the triple diamond. Talk a little about the triple diamond.
Our workhorse on tour. It's not a huge change in the size and shape in previous years, but the face technology has just made this a lot more forgiving, a lot more playable by more players. So it's our lowest spin model, geared a little bit towards better players who want a very neutral shot shape and not a lot of bias, so they can hit different types of shots with it. Super versatile. The front back weighting allows players to dial in the launch and spin. And, we've been seeing this model become more and more popular in more recent years. It's not just for elite tour players. It's for players looking for maximum spin reduction
spin
and really
reduction,
workability.
Right. So, and that's the biggest thing, because when you look at the difference that, because let's just talk about this real quick, because if you get away from the draw bias, you get away from the real light club, and you're looking at these two clubs here, this is the spin, this brings the ball down, this is the spin, bring it down, and this has got the forgiveness and the feel. Am I right in that?
Yeah,
so, okay.
We've been doing tour fittings for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and this has really been our 1-2 punch.
Right.
We're having all the players really fit into one of these two models. One for a little bit more spin and low spin and workability, and one for a little bit more stability.
Right. So again, let's talk about one more time, just for them at home, because this is, you like when you say it, the workhorse, but it's the driver, and everybody's replacing drivers a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So and the Smoke was a good driver. It was a really good driver. It was a great driver. Okay, won a lot. It was a really good driver. Am I right? You know, and like normal, you bring the tour players in, or really good players, and they've had success with that Smoke driver. You know, it's hard to get that out of their hand because they've had some great success with it. And then you start bringing them into this. Okay, so kind of talk a little bit about the differences. I mean, just a little bit. You know, kind of where this cranks up that next level. What's the difference between this? If a guy comes to you right now and goes, I got the Smoke driver, I don't know if I should go to that Elite driver or not. Okay, tell them why. Tell them why you think this is a good drive. Why it's better.
Yeah, as you said, Smoke was a great driver, very successful for us, and a lot of the technology here is built on what we laid out on AI Smoke.
Right.
But it's just gotten a lot better. So, like I said, the face technology has improved.
Right.
A lot of the fitting data we've used, the complexity of the models that going into the optimization are a lot more accurate.
Okay.
So just a better reflection of the players that are actually going to use these clubs.
Right.
And so the outcome is better optimized for those swings.
Right.
And the result of that is just a lot more consistency.
Right.
So we're seeing some speed benefits because of the improved aerodynamics.
Right.
We're also seeing some distance benefits from the lower spin. It's about 150 RPM lower spin than Smoke.
Okay.
But to put those kind of speed and distance elements with more forgiveness, this makes it a really compelling
and that's what you're looking here. So a little bit more speed, a little more forgiveness in this. But that's what you're trying to do every year. But obviously this one, so that one beats that one bit the Smoke. Because again, the Smoke was a great driver. And then you went into this, and it's even that next step up.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit shafting on this. So when you guys did the test and this shaftiness, what did you do with the, if you sit right now, what type of shafts are you looking at this? What really works with this club? Is there anyone in particular you're pushing at?
Yeah, I mean, the Tensei 1K Black has been a favorite of a lot of our testers. It's available in everything. It's kind of the stock shaft in the triple diamond, and then these Denali shafts have been really great as well. They've
worked real well for you guys. Anything else you want to talk about the driver on this? I mean, so you got it home. You have people kind of shopping through this, looking for different drivers, looking around even the market, different drivers, or maybe they had Smoke in their driver going this Smoke to go into this year and seeing if they're going to go to the Elite. Anything you want to tell them at home about that with the Elite? I mean, what was the kind of last thing you tell them?
Go try one. I mean, you know, the numbers speak for themselves, and I think we have 4 really distinct models that fit different segments of the market. So go hit them all and see which one's best for you.
Because that's the other thing, and you can kind of talk to them a little bit at home about this. You know, 5, 10. I mean, you've been doing this a long time. That's why I can talk to you about this. Let's say 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. You guys could come out with a driver and you could say, this is the fastest, the greatest, this is the most forgiving, yada yada driver, and they kind of had to believe you. Now they can test it on their own. Am I right?
Oh, they
can. I mean, you got the TrackMan you can put out there. You can put the SC400s out there. You got all kinds of different ways.
The accessibility of a lot of that equipment nowadays is just totally different than what it used to be.
I mean, in my range, I have Top Tracer built into the range.
Right.
So you can come to my range, you can use Top Tracer, and you can do it right there.
Yeah.
So they can test it now, right? So you guys have to have proof of the pudding, don't you?
Absolutely. People are going to see the numbers. You can't hide behind the marketing, and we know players are going to put these clubs to the test. They're going to test them against their old drivers, against competitive drivers, and you know, we like our chances there. I think what you'll see when you test these is not only more speed and low spin, but consistency.
Right.
And that's a big difference than some of the models in the past is how consistent the launch conditions are when you don't hit the center of the face.
And let's talk about that last thing, because we're talking speed, we're talking consistency, but just talk about overall forgiveness of this, if you would. Because we know, I mean, we sit there and like you said, you have Adam Hadwin over here hitting balls, you know, and he's probably getting pretty close to the center.
Right.
He may miss his shots too, we all do, okay? But let's talk about the average player out there who's hitting it, you know, around in the face. He's not hitting that sweet spot every time. Just talk about that in general. Why?
Well, and that's one of the important inputs into our optimization process is impact location.
Right.
We understand the Adam Hadwins of the world who are hitting a triple diamond.
Right.
Their impact distribution is going to look much different than you and I and a lot of the consumers. So that's a big part that goes into the models, is to understand where are people actually hitting it, what's their probability of impact location in that,
Right.
and then what can we do in the face technology to enhance the performance at the places that they're impacting it most.
Right. Right, love that. And so that really increases it, and that increases the size of the sweet spot, or increases that the off-center hits.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
when you start hitting towards the towing hill, you're not losing all that distance. You're not losing that significant distance out there,
Right.
and that's a big deal. That's a big deal for them at home, because when we miss off the towing hill, we still want to have significant distance, not have it spraying
Yeah.
sideways.
And that's what, a lot of our testers we see, where they hit a ball and they think, oh, right when they hit it,
Right.
it's going to be in trouble. And then they look up
Right.
and see where the ball actually landed, and are like, I can't believe
Right.
how straight that was. I just hit it an inch on the heel.
Right.
And
Right.
and that's really a big opportunity for us, is to improve those mishits,
Right.
so that you're hitting a lot more fairways.
Yeah, perfect, and maintaining the distance. So, well, appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate it.